Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. Before we get started, I ask that everyone please stand for the pledge. We're also going to have Councilmember Carbell lead us in prayer.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we ask you to hear this petition that we make, that our hearts be clear and our minds are focused on the duties that we are about to take on, that it's understood that we make the decisions, we do the best job that we can for the city of Mount Pleasant. We ask that you give us the strength and energy to go through these next days and months that are coming. We ask that you forgive us for all the sins that we've committed. We ask that you bless those and those around us. We ask that you bring us somewhere where we can all come together, make good decisions, be a unified community, and that you guide us, guard us, and direct us in all things that are good. Amen. In Jesus Christ we pray.
All right, again, thank you all for joining us today. Before I get started, I'd like to recognize former Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Tim Dale. Thank you for being with us today. Also, before we get started, I think we have a request, City Manager.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, Mayor. There's an item on the agenda that I would ask that the council vote to remove from this agenda. There are some things in regards to item number 4, which is adoption of the personnel policies. We've had some meetings today and felt that we hadn't crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's that we felt necessary to present this to you tonight. And then there were a lot of questions from several council members. And so we would like to take the time until January to continue hearing your questions as council members. We'd appreciate that so that we can relay answers to those so that everybody's as informed as we possibly can be when we do those personnel policies. I think it's really important because the last time City Council adopted the personnel policies in entirety was 2007. And so there has been some things intermittently done. And so we want to make sure that all those questions are answered and that you're comfortable with that. So again, my request is that you remove item number 4 from the agenda tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. At that request, I will need a motion and a second, and we'll vote on that item.
I'll make a motion to cancel item 4 from the agenda for tonight's December 17th meeting.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion made by Councilmember Hagman. Is that all right? And Councilmember Carbell second that. Madam Secretary, please report a vote.
Yes. Aye.
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 Okay, that vote is unanimous. We'll go ahead and remove that item from the agenda. At this point, I'll go on and move to our regular agenda to consider approval of the November 19, 2020 meeting and the November 25th, 2024 meeting minutes. If the council have had a chance to review the minutes, the floor is open for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve November 19th, 2024 and November 25th, 2024 meeting.
I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion made by Councilmember Redfern, second by Councilmember Hagman. Madam Secretary, report a vote, please.
Aye.
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 The vote is unanimous. We'll go ahead and close that item on the agenda. At this time, we'll be moving on to item 2. Item 2 is public comments. The City Council welcomes citizens' participation and comments at all council meetings. Citizens' comments are limited to 2 minutes out of respect for everyone's time. The council is not permitted to respond to your comments. The Texas Open Meetings Act requires that topics of discussion deliberation be posted on an agenda not less than 72 hours in advance of council meetings. If your comments relate to a topic that is on the agenda, the council will discuss the topic on the agenda at the time that the topic is discussed and deliberated. At this time, if we have anyone in the public that would like to come up and address the council, please do so, stating your name and address.
Mr. Mayor, real quick before we speak, for the public to be heard, I just looked at my thermostat, it says 77. Anybody feeling a little uncomfortable? Even though it says 72, it's set. So if you don't mind, we're gonna take a minute and try to have somebody work right behind me. So please disregard what goes on behind me. Thank you. Emergency solved.
All right, go ahead, sir. You'll have to hold that button down in its entirety while you're speaking.
My name is Steve Russell. I'm with the Titus County Fair Association, 100 West Alabama and Mount Pleasant. Mayor, council, and city manager, thank you for the opportunity to come before you tonight. The Titus County Fair is held annually at the Mount Pleasant Civic Center / Fair Park. We're requesting that you review the proposed rental fee of $13,200 for the 2025 fair. Our rental for the 8 days that we set up, have the fair, and tear down were more than double with the proposed fee over the 2023 rental expense. The Titus County Fair Association is a nonprofit, tax-exempt 501c3 organization. The 2025 fair will be our 50th anniversary fair, of which all but the first 2 fairs have been at the Civic Center. We are a community-minded, standalone organization that handles the organization and production of the Titus County Fair annually for the enjoyment of our community and the benefit of our youth of Titus County. Some quick facts about the fair and our support for the community. We are an all-volunteer organization except for some contract helpers during the week of the fair setup, trash pickup, and tear down. The Fair Association built the poultry building and livestock pavilion with the office and restrooms on the city-owned fair park land back in the 1990s. The Fair Association awarded $10,000 in scholarships last year to Titus County seniors, and this year it's going to be up to $16,000 for 2025. We also sponsor academic achievement award blankets at the 3 Titus County high schools. Over $15,000 was paid to off-duty law enforcement officers for security during the 2024 fair. Excuse me. The fair used over 60 hotel rooms during the week of the fair for our entertainment performers, and we don't receive any of the hotel motel tax back. Our livestock show and sale had over 200 entries, and the auction totaling just over $300,000. Ticket sellers, ticket takers, and parking crew from local organizations received over $10,000 in donations from our 2024 fair. Over the past 2 years, we've donated $7,000 to Titus County Cares from our taco contest. Our Senior Citizens Day free lunch on Friday attracted over 450 people. We entertained over 1,400 preschool and kindergarten students for our Ag Education Day on Thursday, and we provided over 1,500 coloring books to elementary schools in the week of the fair. The academic rodeo attracted 430 students. Our creative arts, fine arts, photography, horticulture, and bake show contest attracted over 1,500 entries. And lastly, you might have seen the Titus County Fair was a $1,000 first place float sponsor for the Rotary Christmas Parade for many years. We've been faced with increasing costs to put on the fair just like everyone else. We look forward to hopefully reducing the amount of the increase in rental costs to ease the cost of having the fair. Thank y'all and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Nahoff, I was gonna call you Greg, sorry. I would like to put this on the agenda for after the year to discuss it.
That'd be fine.
And may I just make a quick comment? So I totally agree with that. I think, and just so you know, so first of all, appreciate the fair. It's a big part of this community. And I will just say, just so people kind of understand, it's, last year, a reduction was given you by the city staff, and those are some set numbers, and I didn't feel like I have the authority to do that. This council does have the authority to do that, and so thank you for following the procedure, and we'll put it on the agenda in January. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Larry Donahue. Live at 663 FM 2882. And this regards the bowling alley here in Mount Pleasant. One of the owners, Jack, went and talked to the EDC about getting EDC money or help for the bowling alley. To get a loan for either the parking lot, you know, something to help us get back open. We'll be employing about 30 plus employees, and would like to know if it was possible to get any help from the EDC to help us with anything we can do to try to help us get the bowling alley back open. We do our best to try to keep a place for all the kids to go and keep them off the streets at night, you know, running the streets, things like that. We do kids bowl free programs. You know, all the schools come in and shoes and bowling is $2.50. It's a lot for the community and keep the kids off the streets. The second item that I have is on the property taxes on the bowling alley. The burn on May the 29th, 2023. We went to the appraisal district and asked them if there was any, you know, help for the taxes, you know, anything. And Jack was told, we don't do that. Instead, the property value on a building that has just been sitting there increased from $548,000 to $627,000. So they increased the value of the building. We at the bowling alley would like to ask maybe if there's a way we can get a tax break or something, because the building is just sitting there and we're in the process of renovating it. And the last item is the sprinkler system. When the bowling alley burnt, about 17% of the building burnt, which was the small bar and the offices. The bowling alley itself did not burn, or the venue. It was just water damage and smoke damage. But, of course, the city said we're required to put in a sprinkler system. The cost is about $130,000, and then $40,000 for the monitoring system. I would like to ask if maybe they could give us a leadway, allow us to open up, put in the monitoring system, put in the pull stations, put in the sirens, you know, everything, and do the underground, but just don't install the sprinkler system until we're open for a while and allowed to recoup some revenue. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I will say the bowling alley is, as far as our youth and places for them to go, we're pretty limited here in Mount Pleasant. That is one person that really spoke truth when it comes to things to do in this city for our youth. I mean, that's about it. It's very important to our community. And Greg and Nathan, I think you guys might need to look into it. You know,
Yeah, certainly, I think, I'm looking for Larry. Oh, there you are. So, we need to sit down and have a conversation, certainly about the sprinkler, your property taxes, and then, you know, Nathan with the EDC director will talk too. So we can try to answer all those for you. I don't know if I'm thinking I don't have a business card right here with me, but maybe leave your contact information or something with Candace, who's the city secretary. We probably have it here somewhere at City Hall. You've dealt with us enough. But I'd like to just sit down and go through that with you and see what we can do.
all right. right, do we have anyone else at this time? Yes, come on up, man. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, hold that button and,
My name is Debbie Hedges. I live at the end of Jackson Burge Road. Jackson Burge Road was just named that a few months ago. And we have a ranch there. It's called Rocking H Ranch. We sell registered Brahman cattle, and we sell them all over the country. And people, we give them our address, when they put our address in, they'll say, "Oh, you live on Hedges Road." And I said, "Well, they've changed it to Jackson Burge Road." And I was wondering, there are no people, I've talked to the Burges, they don't give a hoot about it being Jackson Burge Road. There are no addresses connected to that because there's no homes on that part of the road. And I was wondering if there was any chance, because some of these, the people that come to us, they say that their mapping program says Hedges Road. And we own our home there. We have 6 rental properties that is also Hedges, and our daughter is building down there, and her name is Hedges. And I didn't know if that would be a possibility. I just wanted to throw it out at you. It's just recently been named, and if there was a cost to changing the sign or something, I would be glad to pay for it. But they are saying that it's, when they pull it up, I tried to pull it up and it didn't say Hedges Road, but I've had a number of clients come and they say, "Oh, you live on Hedges Road." I said, "Well, okay, I guess we do." But that's my request. If y'all would consider letting it be Hedges Road instead of Jackson Burge. It's just recently, like I said, been named.
Who named it?
yeah, that,
And I don't know the answer to the name change, but what I would ask you to do, if you could send a short letter or send me an email requesting it in writing so we can kick that off, that you would like to see that name changed, of whether the road's named that or not. And it seems odd that it would change like right now, but what I would say is,
People said that it was Hedges Road. I would give them a county road address, but it would come up Hedges Road. But when the city took it over, they named it Jackson Burge Road. If I'm making sense?
if you wouldn't mind, send me an email or send me a letter that you're basically requesting it be turned back to or made Hedges Road, and then your contact information, and we'll get back with you.
Thank you guys for listening.
okay. Do we have anyone else at this time? Madam Secretary, do you have anyone? Okay, all right, well, at this time, we'll go ahead and, close the public comment at this time and move on to item 3 on the agenda. Okay, item 3 is to consider awarding a contract for IT services. Mr. Nyhoff? Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This particular item, so back in November of this year, the city ended its contract with Datamax, who was providing us our IT services. And so we went out and we requested proposals for providing the city IT services, and we received 2 of them. They were from Mobile Tech Solutions and Bryan Information Technology, and both of those proposals were in the packages, council packages, and made available to the public. And so the committee of Mayor Pro Tem Hinton and Councilmember Hageman were part of an IT committee that actually conducted interviews with both of these firms. And so the city committee and the city staff are recommending that council approve an agreement with Bryan Technology, not an agreement, but select them as the provider, and then authorize the city manager to negotiate, the city attorney to approve, and review and approve, and the city manager to execute. But before I do that, I would like to ask Sean and Seth Bryan to come up and just introduce themselves and make a few comments about their company. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Sean Bryan. I'm the CEO and owner. I started my company back in 2008, and gosh, we've been working with Titus County actually since then. Prior to that, I worked for a software company, and so that kind of, I started working with county government software, and so it was kind of an easy transition into what I had done before to this. So I started hiring some individuals, and we've been working, we work with a lot of your neighboring counties and cities right now. And then Seth, you wanna, yeah, go ahead, hold that button.
I'm Seth Bryan. I'm obviously Sean's brother, and he brought me on pretty early on. It's actually the only job I've ever had. I've been doing it 15 years now. And yeah, we serve a lot of the surrounding counties, like Sean mentioned, a lot of long-term clients. We feel really confident that we're able to serve you guys well, and I think that this will be a beneficial partnership where we can assist you guys.
So I think just to add to that, so the proposal that we would be recommending and negotiating, it's a 24/7 proposal because we operate 24/7, law enforcement, fire, public safety, water lines, utility lines, all the above. And so the proposal that we're going to move forward on, should council concur this evening, is that it will be a service that's 24 hours, 7 days a week. And with that, I know you in the packet showed some references. You do a lot of work kind of nearby Camp County, Franklin County, Titus County certainly, and so you're pretty much a local company here that we're able to be considering here. Thank you.
All right, council, at this time, do you have any questions while we have them in front of us here? All right, if we have no questions, we'll open the floor for a motion on the item.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve. I would say we did go out and, initially did some interviewing. And we went to public to hopefully attain as many additional folks, just to give everyone and follow the rules. And Brian still came back, so they've been very patient and appreciate their time, and would like to move forward with approval on this to vote.
I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion made by Councilmember Hackman, second by Councilmember Hinton. Madam Secretary, record a vote, please.
Aye.
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 All right, the vote is unanimous. We'll now close that item on the agenda. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all very
Appreciate it.
much. We appreciate it. Merry Christmas.
All right, we can go ahead and close that item. As we stated earlier, item 4 was removed, so we'll now move on to item 5. Item 5 is to consider a pay request. Number 7 to Schneider Electric for work on the meter replacement project. Mr. Racer.
Mayor and Council. This is for pay request number 7 for in the amount of $334,343.58 between October 24 to November 19, 24. Schneider Electric changed out 405 3/4-inch meters, 1-inch 70 meters, 71-inch meters, I'm sorry, 44 2-inch meters, bringing that to a total of 5,391, maybe I need to take my glasses off, $5,391, 91 meters changed out. And the service lines are still being evaluated on the lead and copper. We have got most of them done, but we hadn't found any lead, so that's a good thing. We have found some galvanized, which is not uncommon. So the original construction was $2,856,630. Billing to date is $2,188,577.85. Remaining contract cost is $668,052.15. We recommend that, or we motion for approval to pay Number 7, in the amount of $334,343.58.
All right, thank you, Mr. Race. Council, do we have any questions about this item?
Yeah, hey, Anthony. You were out, I think, last time when I first got my notice, and I know a few other folks gave me some, or received some notices, so I noticed on the notice that it talked about, lead pipe / galvanized, and frankly, it was pretty unclear, for me to understand, and the questions were similar. It rolled back, or basically rolled down to, you could be contaminated, and we're looking for potential funding options. So maybe highlight that, because I know there's probably folks that have some question marks there.
Yes, sir. So that is a letter that is written actually by the state, so we just filled in a few blanks for it. So yeah, they do. We try to clarify what they did. So what it is, if you got a letter that said, y'all got to forgive me, my mind's blank right now. One of them went out with what people had, and then one of them was where it didn't show anything. So they're still looking at those, but we had to send them out by a certain date, which was, I think it was October the 24th. So what we're doing is every meter will go through and will be notified or checked to see whether it's lead, copper, and what have you. So there'll be another set of letters coming out. But this is just a typical letter that we had to send out to everyone. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I just know some folks are like, should I drink my water? Don't turn the hot water on. Am I going to take a lead bath? Like, there was a lot of questions around that.
Well, and typically so whenever they bring up the lead, but like I said, most of them have been done, and so we hadn't found any lead. We have found the galvanized, but the galvanized isn't going to affect you. It's just what they're saying is that in a certain amount of time, 10 years, by 10 years from now, the state would like for all the service lines to be changed from whether it's galvanized copper to PVC, stuff like that. And so, but the people that have received their letter, their water's not contaminated, they're okay. It's just, that's what we have to do. We have to notify them that we did find a galvanized service line going to their house. So as far as covering the cost or whatever, the government hasn't come out with money mandated for that. I feel like they will, but they haven't given us that okay. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the safety question, you answered great, and understand the question mark. It doesn't really fall on us there, so I appreciate it. Thanks, Anthony.
I would like to add, though, I've talked to a few people, and what I'd like to add is if they do decide to get their galvanized line changed on their own, I would recommend that they keep their receipts. And so if there is money that the city can go out to get in a year or so, when the state does mandate some money, that's a possibility that they can be reimbursed.
That's super helpful, dude. Thanks, Anthony.
So may I just follow up that? So are our folks and utilities aware of a response to this question? It sounds like other people have got the letter, just to make sure that we're addressing it as the questions come in. And then secondly, I guess what I'm hearing you say on those notices, it's kind of like the Surgeon General warned you that this may be unhealthy for you, you may have this, and so those are just like warnings from the state that say, hey, this may be contaminated, something to that effect.
Yes, sir. You're right. That's what it is. That's what it is, basically. And so we have addressed. Actually, I thought we would get a whole lot more calls than what we did, but we didn't receive a bunch of calls. So we have addressed those. We have calmed everyone down that gave us a call and stuff of that nature.
Okay, do we have any further questions?
I'd just like to make a comment, Anthony, to your guys. I was out of town and very, very sick, and there was something happened at the meter in the house, and your guys took care of it, and we're very, very good about doing it. I appreciate it. I told them, but I'm telling you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Well, at this time, I'll go ahead and open the floor for a motion on this item.
I make a motion to approve, pay request 7 to Schneider Electric for the water meter replacement project.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion made by Councilmember Hagman, second by Councilmember Redford. Madam Secretary, record a vote, please.
Aye.
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 All right, the vote is unanimous. We'll now close that item on the agenda. All right, our next item will be item 6, consider pay request number 2 from Wicker Construction Incorporated for work performed on the West Loop wastewater collection project. Mr. Racer.
So Mayor and Council, this is for the Wicker construction job, which is the sewer pipeline that's going north and south. And so pay request number 2 is in the amount of, I'm sorry, y'all, $296,160.60. This pay request is for 25% mobilization, 25% traffic control, 25% stormwater pollution, and clearing 15 acres of the right-of-way this month. The original construction is $9,816,351.10. Payments previously authorized was $170,762.50. And like I said, this amount is for $296,160.60. Recommend a motion to approve pay request number 2.
All right, thank you. Any questions on this item?
Just curious, do we have a schedule around this? Or, I mean, I know we've kind of gone through a few pay requests, but just trying to understand, moving forward, if we have an understanding of a timeline as well.
So yes, sir, we do. This one here, I believe was for 585 days.
All right, we have anything further? All right, floor is open for motion.
I'll make a motion for pay request 2 to Wicker Construction for the West Loop wastewater collection project.
I'll second.
All right, have a motion made by Councilmember Hagman, second by Councilmember Carbell, I'm sorry. Madam Secretary, record a vote, please.
Yes.
Aye.
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 All right. Yeah, that is a unanimous vote for that item. We'll now close it and move on to item 7. Item 7 is consider pay request number 19 from Heritage Construction LLC for work performed at the Southside Wastewater Treatment Plant.
So Mayor and Council, this is our sewer project that's going on at the wastewater plant. Pay request number 19 is in the amount of $587,310.33. This payment is for work performed on the wastewater plant, including but not limited to installation of diffusers, blowers, piping, valves, excavation of the effluent lift station, and electrical wiring. The original construction is $40,549,300. Total adjusted contract is for $41,012,657.85. Completed contract cost to date is $27,366,034.80. So we recommend a motion to approve pay item number 19.
All right, thank you. Do we have any questions? Ms. Debbie, is your mic on?
You got it? I was turned away, I'm sorry. You got it?
Jeff is here, Mr. Reynolds is here from Heritage, and he can give you a better update of where we're at on it than I can, okay?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We are in phase 2 of the project. We are still looking to be substantially complete in August of 25 and final completion September, October timeframe to demobilize. And so, but we have begun phase 2. We have, I believe we have some pictures, do we? And so this is drone shot of the entire plant or train 2, and to the upper right-hand side of the screen is the effluent lift station, followed by the chlorine contact basin and the disc filter structure. And those structures are really make up phase 2 of the project. So our plan is to be completely concrete and out of the ground by end of February timeframe. And then in phase 1, we have installed about 85% of the major equipment or the critical path equipment for the project. And so we'll complete phase 2, and then we have some existing or some work to do on the existing train in the final stages of this project, but on schedule for August, September timeframe of 25.
Once this project is completed, are we going to be where we can service just about anything that comes here in the future?
So we are a domestic wastewater plant. We're not designed for heavy industrial at all. Now, this brings up a good point, because we will be bringing to council a proposed pretreatment program that will help in the future to offset, because you're going to get some industrial, light industrial, no matter what. So, but we will be able to, with this here, handle some light industrial.
Going to keep us in for the future for quite a while.
It'll help.
So Anthony, just very quickly, can you, there's more pictures in there. Can you quickly go through those just again on the status of the project?
This is the effluent lift station here. Next slide. This is looking at it from the, what you have here is the disc filter as well as the pump station into the clarifiers. Structures of the clarifiers, that's where what we consider phase 1 in. Phase 2 is coming back at this picture. But this is the disc filter structure for your filtration. And it's just an overall view from this end, again, with your effluent lift station, disc filter structure, and in the far distance, the headwork. But we're looking at phase 2 leading into. We have backfill 95% around those structures.
All right, thank you for sharing that with us. All right, at this time, council, do we have any further questions?
Yes. I know we have 2 sets of screw pumps. Maybe we'll start with the new ones and any progress there, and then if we could roll into, because I heard, I know there were some changes on the older ones in terms of what we understand. So just if we kind of touch on both of those, if you don't mind, sir, and welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, sir. So I'll start with the new ones.
Just one moment. I just want to make sure the city attorney has the ability to comment first.
We have this subject under the litigation exception in executive session, and so I think it's probably more prudent for us to discuss it there.
Never mind.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate I'm coming back.
Okay, with that being said, we have no further questions. We'll go ahead and open the floor for a motion on this item.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve a request number 19 for Heritage Construction LLC for the work performed on the Southside wastewater treatment plant.
I second the motion.
We have a motion made by Councilmember Hagman, second by Councilmember Hinton. Madam Secretary, record a vote, please.
Aye.
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 All right, thank you. The votes are unanimous. We'll now close that item on the agenda. At this point, we'll be moving on to item 8. Item 8 is considering possible action on the amended development agreement between the Mount Pleasant Economic Development Corporation and MPX Group LLC concerning the development of a manufacturing facility on land adjacent to the city, proposed to be annexed by the city.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will introduce this item. Mount Pleasant Industrial Development Corporation, it's referred to as the Mount Pleasant Economic Development Corporation. Board approved a performance agreement with MPX Group LLC. Local government code requires that the City Council of the City of Mount Pleasant, Texas approve all programs and expenditures of the MPEDC. The EDC Director, Nathan Tafoya, is with us. In just a minute, I'll ask him to go through the terms of the agreement, explain it. But I need to apologize first and then explain. There's some confusion. So it talks about an amended agreement, and there's 2 agreements in your packet. I actually wrote this when we had it on the agenda at a prior date, and there had been some changes to it. And so the second agreement that's in your packet is the agreement that you'll be considering tonight. Secondly, when we first put this on the agenda, it hadn't been voted on a second time after amended by the EDC board, and I believe, Nathan, at the last meeting, they voted again to approve what would be the agreement. So the agreement that you see secondly has both been approved by the board and reviewed by city attorney's office. And so we're on the same page. It's a little confusing in the packet. Again, it's the second agreement that you see on there, and there's no comment about it being agenda. In my packet, it's kind of flipped from normal, so that is the agreement that you're going to actually be looking at. So with that, Mr. Tafoya, if you wouldn't mind kind of going over the agreement. Thank you.
Mayor, governing body, good to see you. Good morning, good evening, sorry. Good evening. So I'll just quickly summarize what's in the packet. There's 2 kind of main sections: obligations and affirmations of the developer, and then of the EDC. Those are the nuts and bolts of the agreement. But for the public's consumption, a nice summary would be to say that this is a $1 million board-approved reimbursement for qualified expenditures, and that would be for real estate, infrastructure, construction, and equipment. For a $20 million minimum investment, a minimum total of 100,000 operational square footage, and the creation / retention of a minimum of 95 new FTE jobs earning a minimum $18 an hour. Mount Pleasant's performance monitoring term will be for 4 years, and annexation by January 1st of 2027 is also part of the agreement. Stand for questions.
All right, floor is open for any questioning.
So Nathan, the $1 million. So, can you tell me again what that's for? Is it for utilities? Is it for paving, parking lots?
Yes, ma'am. So qualified expenditures are defined as real estate, infrastructure, construction, equipment for the project.
So there's no set plan for it. It's just falling into that gap.
Yes, under qualified expenditures.
Hey, Nathan, quick question. So I know with the annexation plan that got put in place, anything around the city needs to be prepared for, so when the building gets annexed from a sewage or anything like that?
Not that we're already engineering or have talking to the city manager or Anthony's team about right now. So the company's engineering group is speaking with the city's engineering group, and they're working out all those details.
All right, thanks.
Any further questions?
So in the future, will we be getting updates from you, telling us what the expenditures will be used for? So since you don't know, it's kind of vague and falling into that category that you said. So as they are going in the next year or two, will you be able to come back and report to us and tell us what's been?
Sure. So just for maintenance and to ease the paper trail, we asked for no less than $200,000 increments. So there'll probably be either one big request with a bunch of receipts or 5 for 200,000 or so. So, but yeah, if you like to see that, we're happy to shoot you an email.
That could also be like in our monthly reports that we get from y'all or something, just to kind of give us a heads up and we can discuss it.
As you wish, as they say in Princess Bride.
Any further questions? All right, this item is called for an action, possible action, if for the agreement to be approved, I need a motion.
To confirm, Greg, this would be considered the amended development agreement, just to make sure, in the voting procedure?
Hey, may I
Go ahead. Go ahead.
speak? It might be prudent to refer to it as the updated, because I don't think it technically has an amended term on it. It is the document that also has a signature block for the city to sign.
I would like to make a motion to approve the updated development agreement between Mount Pleasant Economic Development Corporation and MPX Group LLC for the development of a manufacturing facility on land adjacent to the city, proposed to be annexed by the city at the date specified in the contract.
I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion made by Councilmember Hageman, second by Councilmember Hinton. Madam Secretary, report a vote, please.
Yeah.
Aye.
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 And the vote is unanimous. We'll now close that item on the agenda. Thank you, Mr. Tapoy. We'll move on now to item 9, which is our city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple comments. You do have departmental reports in the packet for you tonight. A couple events. So the Chamber of Commerce tomorrow is sponsoring a State of the City address. It's a lunch meeting, and if you're interested in going, you should contact them. And in essence, council members, what we're just trying to do is I'm going to give them an update what's happening internally with, some staff changes, some of the transitions, some of the issues we faced. Councilmember Hageman will kind of talk about from a council perspective, things that we're working on. And then I wanted to let you as a council know, so we haven't talked about the priorities yet. Unless the city council chooses differently, I talked to Richard about actually putting something on the tables at this to say, if you have any input into the priorities you might wish the city to pursue, so that we could use that information in addition to what you all are actually thinking would be a good thing, just to get their input. And then we'll open that up, and actually not just for the luncheon, but suggest that to anyone in the community who wants to suggest priorities, which we'll be looking at in January. I want to just say I had a meeting with Tri-Sud and the Titus County Freshwater District. As many of you recall, it's a very high priority for the city council because there's been some differences between us, and we need to regroup and take a look at an agreement that is not being followed in its entirety. And so we start with that, and then we're looking at master planning that would actually help our Tri-Sud actually uses water at 14 different points throughout the city to service their areas. And so it's important that we know long-term what their plans are, but also as we look at economic development, a very high priority that I will be recommending is doing a master plan. So not only are we looking at Tri-Sud in master planning, we're going to look at economic development to ensure when the EDC brings us projects, for instance, or people interested in investing, that we have quick answers and that we're prepared to do it. Just like Councilmember Corbell, you asked about, will that set us up for a long time? Plan's important, but you got to have the infrastructure and distribution center to make that work as well. So That was a very good meeting, and I think in January, what I will be asking is that a committee of council members will start joining us in our deliberations as we start trying to come to some agreement very similar to what we did with County Fire back in July, I believe, July or August. The auditors are here, just for City Council to know. They're looking at our books for September, for the fiscal year ending September of 2024, and we're very hopeful that we get a good report, but they're going to tell us. The monthly budget report, typically what we've promised is that we would go over this with you at the second meeting of each month. And our finance director, Gatewood, here in the room with us, and she had some medical procedures to take care of, so she wasn't ready. She handed it to me before I walked in the door, but it wasn't on the agenda. We will get it to you in December because I think we have to stay on that process that you're going to get that monthly, and we will likely what we'd like to do, unless you see it and want us to do it in the first meeting in January, we'll do both the previous month. So you would be seeing November normally now, and then you would see December and January. We'll go over both of those in the second meeting in January at the same time. And then for the community, I just appreciate a lot of things that I see this community working together. We certainly have room to continue doing that. We want to be good partners out there. And so I want to say Merry Christmas to certainly all of you on the City Council and to the community, and appreciate, it's been an honor to work here for this year. So look forward to a new year as well. Thank you.
Greg, I would also like to say that when we had the Christmas lighting that was downtown, the downtown merchants, Main Street, Candace, everybody came together and really did an amazing job with the budget that we had. It was just amazing. Everyone was very excited with what was going on.
All right. Okay. We have any further questions about that, Mr. Nyhoff, concerning the city manager's report? Okay, if not, we'll go ahead and close that agenda item. I just want to say, for those that may not be with us after executive session, just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and to enjoy the holidays. But at this time, we're getting ready to go into executive session pursuant to the Open Meetings Act of Chapter 551, Texas Government Code. The City Council will recess into executive session to discuss the following: deliberations regarding economic development negotiations, deliberations about real property, and consultation with attorney concerning economic development corporation projects, consultation with attorney and personal matters related to the management responsibilities, performance, business operations of the Mount Pleasant Economic Development carried out through its board of directors, executive director, and the city council. Also, consultation with attorney and on personal matters, discussion of status of recruitment for city manager. Also regarding pending and contemplated litigation or a settlement offer or on a matter in which the attorney has a duty to consult confidentially with the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct. Also, to discuss the appointment and employment of council appointees. Along with that, also to discuss possible board and commission appointees. That is quite a bit. So we're going to be busy back there. I would like to thank those that are here that may not be here when we come out of that session. So at this time, we're going into executive session. Yes, go ahead.
So I think just, sorry I forget this, Mayor, every time, but we do not anticipate that there will be any action after we review these executive sessions. So I don't want anybody staying around. We do not anticipate there'll be any action. Thank you.
All right, thank you. At this time, we're in executive session.